references from my dad because my dad used to be a director in advertising back when I was 10 years old. So I started by observing, and then got my first camera when I was 16. And then after that I went to film school, all fun. And then I got my first break with music videos. And then, cinematographer is the one responsible for the lighting, for the camera angling. He's the one collaborating with the director. Actually, you look. If you're doing movies, basically yung texture, yung lighting, yung movie. Lighting and composition making, how to use the lenses. I'm working with this director. I met this great director at ABS-CBN. His name is Pee-wee. Yun. Sobrang memorable yung mga experiences ko sa camera. Sa Pee-wee. Sige, moving on.
Seryoso?
Okay. Then, ito yun. Meron kami kuna namatay. Memorable kasi may utang ko sa amin actually. Pero yung mga most recent are mostly the films with the brilliant Mendoza, yung Kinatay, Service, Lola.
Ano ba yung Lola ni Arnold?
Which I won 2 international awards, Las Palmas and Durban. Para maging cinematographer, maging inspired ka lang parati. Of course, yung attitude, kailangan marunong kang mag-balance ng pagiging makulit. Saka may kasama sa mga directors. And yung passion, of course, yung passion dapat thinking mo parati, it's not all about the talent fees. Yung project din, dapat yung heart mo na sa project.
For me, an editor is actually, he's the guy who puts everything together. A typical day of an editor would start with him taking a look at the material, and then after taking a look at that material, he has to think of a way to bring all those shots together to make a comprehensive thought out of it. The editor uses all those visual cues and dialogue cues to create something that's coherent and interesting to an audience. So for me, that's what an editor does.
Give him the word that I'm not a rover.
Para sa akin, what an editor has to achieve in order to be good or improve in his craft or grow in his craft is to start thinking systematically. So he has to be organized. You have to have a semblance of a system for you to be able to concentrate on the creative part. Kasi syempre, in editing, there are 2 sides in editing. There's the technical side and the creative side. What separates a good editor from a great editor is the organizational skills. Memorable experience would be watching my first full-length feature film with an audience. To be honest, when I was watching Tulad ng Dati, that was my first feature-length film, and it was an independent film.
You have amnesia? It's not 1988, it's 2006.
Grabe, sobrang lakas nung excitement na naramdaman ko nun. Kasi every sequence or shot na nilagay ko and would expect someone to react in a certain way, nakita ko na nagre-react sila the way I imagined them to react. So it gave me a sense of of pride, and also that small sense of power in bringing out emotions from something that you've done. So that's one of the most memorable experiences. To be a great editor, you really have to be organized. There are a lot of people who say that they're artists and they, they can't achieve a sense of organization kasi art ako eh. I'm creative and I can't kumbaga organized chaos ang gusto ko eh. Ayoko nang may mga systems in place. Pero kasi in editing, it's yun nga eh. In editing, there are two sides in editing. There's that technical side and then there's that creative side.
Many people call you the best of the best, the cream of the cream of the crop.
So if you want to be able to bring your editing to another level, you have to master first the technical side. So you have to be organized and you have to understand, because we're using computers now, diba? We're in the digital age, so you have to understand the technology in order for you to concentrate on the creative side of what you're doing, which is editing. So if you got the technical side, parang second nature to you, you'll be able to bring out the best in your project. So I think that's the most important thing that a young editor should learn.
It was a hobby that I was interested in, that I enjoyed filming. I shot 8mm film as a teenager, so it was natural that I progressed to video or film. But up to now, I still consider it a hobby. Maybe a serious hobby, but still it's a hobby. Well, I do work that nobody else wants to do. So I consider myself the senior janitor. Literally, I do work that nobody else can do, whether it's cinematography or research for 3D. I'm supposed to be the manager, but basically my job is to inspire people so they can do a good job. It's the same. I mean, everyone basically wants to do good filming work. They want to tell a story. So whether their budgets are high or low, my job is to help them tell a story. So independents will have less money, students will have no money. Even big production houses, they might have millions, but they want to get their money's worth. So beyond just video, our job is to help them tell a story. Our job is to help them see pitfalls in advance. But my experience with independent film has been good. It's been a nice working relationship. I developed a special bond with them because they're trying to do a lot with limited time, effort, and money, of course. And together, maybe I'm a small part of it, but together we help realize this person's dream. For students who want to pursue filming, my advice is don't believe the glamour and the glory, but put in your 10,000 hours and keep trying. For students, I tell them, you should try to do something that you like doing. Don't do something because you think it will make a lot of money or it will please your parents because it's cool. Do it because you really enjoy doing it, because it's what you want to do inside. Because if a person has passion into something, then he will become good at it because you keep doing it. So students, find out what it is that turns you on, that is something that you really, really want to do. And be good at it, and that's how you pursue a career. Of course, you have to think of some vices in life, like rent, and food, and paying utilities, but basically go where your passion is.
I guess I'd like to say, I grew up around production. My Lolo was an actor, my dad was also a director. So as a kid, my playground was production, my playground was the set, my playground was post-production. So I kind of grew up around it. To the point where I got into high school, mahilig ako sa films. I would make short films, music videos, and then eventually I decided after high school I really want to take up film. I think the director, initially, most importantly, is a storyteller. That's his job, is to round up his team, his crew, and make sure that they can tell the best story possible. I think that's what makes a great director. A great director is also a great storyteller. You must have a great imagination. How do I direct? I like to be very positive, a lot of patience. You need to give off this really positive vibe on the set in your production so that you can bring out the best from your actors and from your crew. So being very positive and being very patient are very two important traits or an attitude that a director must have. And once you're able to bring that on the set, I think you will get the best from everybody. Well, actually, I've done 2 independent films now.
Panginoon, nagpapasalamat po kami sapagkat ang kanyang pagmamahal, ang kanyang pakikisama ay naranasan namin dito sa lupa.
I think the greatest fulfillment is being able to see the story, being able to visualize it, and then taking it a step further by actually executing it. So as a director, you have to see things before they actually happen. You have to be able to visualize it before it happens. Because if you cannot see it before it happens, then how are you going to make it happen? So the mind, the imagination is very powerful. So that's what's very memorable for me is when I'm able to plan and I'm able to visualize all these shots, and then I actually can do it. That excites me. The good shots, that excites me. What can I advise? Well, number 1 definitely is patience. You need a lot of patience. If you think you've got the patience, I think you have to find a way to get more. Advice for aspiring filmmakers is to, how do I say it? Is to run after it. Don't just relax your way through it. If you really want it, the only person that can stop you is yourself. Right? Don't let anything stop you. Go there, tell your story.